Mm.
Have you ever gotten in your car and drove as far as the road would take you, no destination in mind, just to get away from everything? I have. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Homemade. I'm Shannon Kaysen. Road trips. Road trips. I love road trips. I mean, I like flying too. Don't get me wrong. So if you calling me out somewhere, I'm gonna fly because I want to get there. But if I'm in no hurry, I'll take a road trip in a heartbeat because you get to spend time just chilling on the road, enjoying good music or a podcast or whatever it is. So I like road trips. I've gone on a few. I remember I went on one when I was in college. I had like a spare week and I drove to Cleveland, uh, New York, Buffalo, Niagara Falls. It was my first time seeing Niagara Falls, then Toronto, and then I came on back home. And I always said to myself, this was in college, I always said to myself that I enjoyed this so much that I want to take like a month or 6 weeks and just hit the road, just go all across America. And I got that chance during the COVID time because we weren't doing anything. Everybody was just in the house doing nothing. So I decided that I was going to take a month or 6 weeks and just roam the earth in the United States on by car, just roam and take a road trip. And I had a few rules. My rules, the only rules I had here are they. Rent a comfortable car. I got a Ford Flex. I liked it because the seats let down in the back and I could sleep in the car. And that was my second rule. Um, Go affordable, like affordable hotels, even motels, and many times, if it's possible, just sleep in the car and just stay on the road. So this was me just living, saving money basically. And then another rule was don't eat fast food on the road. So either fast, like lose some weight, fast, or eat whole foods. Stop at a grocery store and get some fruits and vegetables or things like that, that where I'm eating whole foods on the road. However, when I stop at a location, like if I go to a destination, I can eat whatever I want. And by this, I mean like go to someplace nice. Go to like a steak house or seafood place. Go to look on the apps, find the best places in these areas and just go to the best place because I'm saving money on the road. Why not enjoy it when I get to the destination? So my only other rule was have no rules, make no plans, go wherever I want. I'm solo dolo. I don't have to worry about anybody's personality or cater to them or pander to them to make them feel a certain way. I can meet whoever I want if I want to meet people. However, if I meet no one, it's no worries, it's no pressure. I'm not pressuring myself that I got to meet someone every place I go or visit someone every place I go. Do whatever I want within reason. Within reason. I mean, I'm from Detroit, Chicago. I know what areas not to go to, which Martin Luther King boulevards are not welcoming. I know, I know this. I can kind of fill it out, but do whatever I want. No fear. I'm not operating in fear. I'm going to enjoy myself. So I hit the road, and first place I stop is Cleveland. And I get to Cleveland at night. So I'm kind of in Cleveland to enjoy their nightlife. And I will say this about Cleveland, and this is going to make somebody probably upset. Probably my Cleveland people will go get upset, but damn, it's a very unattractive city. I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? I went to like a bar. It wasn't a party, but it was like a bar because it was nighttime when I got there. So I kind of was feeling myself. I was like, damn, I'm getting a lot of action up in this bar because, but I was looking around. There was a lot of action that I really, I could do without. Just being real. I mean, people I know they gonna get. I mean, I know it's beautiful people in Cleveland. Probably it was just my immediate notice at that location, but yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna say what it is. Yeah, yeah. I met one lady, and I'm gonna tell you, she called me as soon as I left the bar. She called me, and then the next day I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is wonderful. Got to go see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Amazing. They honoring hip hop artists, rock and roll, blues, everybody. It's an amazing experience. But she was calling me like, "Hey, where you at? Why you invite me to the house of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?" I'm like, "You live here. You can come here." And all right. So just saying that. But then I went to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, a cool city. I like Pittsburgh. I like the art scene in Pittsburgh. It felt like a creative community in Pittsburgh. You had the August Wilson area. Then you had Andy Warhol. He had a museum there. You had all these bridges. It felt very creative out there in Pittsburgh. It was my first time going. I had went before, but I like Pitt. I want to go back to Pittsburgh. I want to spend more time there. Then I went to Richmond, Virginia. Hit the road, stopped again in Richmond, Virginia, and they have a big market in Richmond, Virginia. Cobblestone, floors or road, and then they had the old buildings on each side, and the market had a energy to it. I know that many of my people came through that market. That was a slave port at that Richmond, Virginia market, but they had people doing yoga and had all these restaurants. But then they did have some placards and some memorials to, what was actually taking place in that market. So that was a powerful experience. So I left Richmond, Virginia, which I would go back there too. Pretty good food too. All right, so my next stop was DC. I went to DC, Washington DC, one of my favorite cities. Favorite cities: Detroit, Chicago, New York, and then DC. I could see myself living in DC. The energy of DC kind of fits with me. And in DC, went to the museums, some of the museums, best museums on earth, pretty much, in Washington, DC. And then I went to, I like to go, like when I go out, okay, I go to the museums. I find like a local eatery place, like someplace local that's known for that area. And then I'll go to some art scene, some creative scene that they have. If it's a performance or something, that's even better. So in DC, I went to Ben's Chili Bowl. So I'm hanging out at Ben's Chili Bowl, kind of sitting outside eating. And there was a guy who was sitting across from me, and people were like talking to him, like he knew, like he was known in the area or something. So I was noticing that. But we started kicking it, and we talking about politics. We talking about Black issues. We talking about family and women and everything. So he invited me to go to a cigar bar. So it was a cigar bar not too far from there. So he knew that I was just kind of like roaming around. So I ended up going to the cigar bar with him. And we're sitting there, we're keeping the conversation going. He loves film too. So we're talking about films. And it was a lady sitting across from us. And she kind of joined in the conversation. Women love cigars and bourbon now too, so she was in the conversation, but she kept telling us how successful she was. Like I guess she did something successful in the city. And we started talking about go-go bands, and she knew that Backyard Band was playing somewhere in the city, and she invited me to go. So we jump in I think I left my car there, and we jumped in a cab, or I might have took my car. I might have drove, and she was in she came with me or whatever. We just met there. It wasn't like a love connection thing. It was just kind of like hanging out, friendly in a way. And so we get to the Backyard Band where they're playing at some kind of club bar place, and she pays for us to get in. So I guess she was successful, because I would have paid my own way, but she kind of got there before me and paid it, and then she got us drinks and paid for that. So I guess she was successful. So but it was a good time. Now the Backyard Band go-go, I loved it because everyone was there. It was like older couples, younger couples, young people, older people, everybody just dancing, and that kind of music you can't help but move to. So she dancing and I'm doing my little two-step or whatever, so it's a good time. It was a good time. And the night ended wholesome. It was just a wholesome time, just hanging out, backyard band. The guy the next day, the guy I had met that we met at the Chili Bowl and then got cigars, he hit me up and he said he was going to Baltimore the next day because a friend of his owns a boat out there and he invited me to come out and hang with him. So I drove out to Baltimore and we met up, and it was like a sailboat. And his friend was interesting. He was like a sailboat captain, like a master of the sailboat. He said rich folks didn't know how to dock their boats over there, so he would have to go out, get their boats, bring it in to dock because he was good at that. Or if they had to get their boats out, he could get it to the open water for them. So he was telling me about that, but he had this heavy accent, and I thought he was like from some African culture, country. I don't know where he's from. So, but he had a really thick accent. And so we're talking about black issues. We're talking about everything. You know what I'm saying? Was talking about Anthony Browder's books. So they were bringing up that, and they was talking about everything. And we was having a good conversation. Now he has this accent, and I asked where he was from, and he was from Philly. He said he got this accent. He pretty much code switching. He said he got this accent because of all the traveling he doing. I'm like, you didn't get no accent from traveling. You get what I'm saying? So, but him call it. But the thing was, I think I don't know. He's so enamored by this traveling that he wanted to be some exotic guy. So he put an accent on his. I'm like, man, you ain't even got no accent. That threw me off a little bit with him. That threw me off, but he was cool. He had us on this boat. We smoking cigars and drinking whiskey and shit. So it was a good time. So I left Baltimore and went to a place that I know very well, Atlanta. I used to go to Atlanta with my dad with the hair shows. Bronner Brothers would have a hair show like twice a year. So we spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and then just Atlanta in general. In Detroit is a connection. It's 12-hour drive. You go to Atlanta a lot if you live in Detroit. So I know Atlanta pretty well. And I got a place in Atlanta and kind of went to I got a lot of friends in Atlanta too. One of my boys, Q, who actually has beats on the podcast during the intermission, that's Q's beats. That's he called himself, his producer name is A Margin of Freedom. So he had a mixer, like a performance mixer that he invited me to, where all these different artists would be performing. And one of his artists that he works with name is Bruce Cush. Good artist too. Check out Bruce Cush. Look him up. Real cool, smooth, chill music. Like music you can really listen to, not real aggressive, really chill music. So I go to the mixer and I'm there, and it's pretty cool. It's like got top artists. Sky Zoo, who's a excellent hip-hop artist. Ransom, I believe, was there, who's another excellent hip-hop artist. So I'm kind of like wild by it. And I remember it was this lady who was there, and I wasn't hollering at her, but I was kind of like looking, and she was looking too. So we was kind of like getting and then I saw this guy, and he kind of looked like West Side Gun. Now I'm drinking. So when I'm drinking, I'm not aggressive, but I'm friendly aggressive. Like I'm like, hey, well, I'm real, because I'm really introverted, but when I'm drinking, I'm more extroverted. So, and I grabbed the guy by his shoulder and kind of like turned him around almost, like, man, you look like West Side Gun, man. And I'm a big Griselda fan. And then he turned around and it was West Side Gun at this event that we had, So I'm like, oh shit. And he was with some other people. They could have whooped my ass, you know what I'm saying? I'm grabbing West Side Gun, all aggressive. And then the lady who I was looking at, who I was kind of flirting with in a sense, it was Keisha Plum. So I didn't know, but I felt like I had a chance with Keisha Plum. I didn't holler at her, but I kind of felt like I had a chance. If you know Keisha Plum, beautiful voice, beautiful poet, part of Griselda. But I had a good time at the mixer. Saw my friend Q, Bruce Cush. It was a good time. So in Atlanta, the following day, I stayed the next day, and I want to go to a poetry event. I had looked up a poetry event. I went to some of the museums in Atlanta, although I had been previously, like the Martin Luther King House, and then he has a area, a memorial. So I did and paid my homage to that. But I wanted to find a place to go, and I found this poetry night on Eventbrite. So I go to the poetry night, and they had it set up where it was like a bar in one area, and then they'll be doing the performances in another area. So I went to the bar, and I sat in a chair, but I sat like in between two open booths, like little stools or whatever. And I saw a couple come in, so I move over to another stool to give them the two stools. I hate when people just sit in the middle stool and I got to come over and ask you, hey, can you move over so me and somebody else can sit down? So I moved over and had them sit down, and they was very, very thankful for it. They're like, oh man, we appreciate that. And it was a lady and a man, and we started conversation. We talking about whatever. I forget what we was talking about, but I'm directing all my conversation to the guy because it's a couple, and she's really talkative, talking to me, but I'm talking to the guy. But then later on, she kind of lets me know that that's her brother, her blood brother. Basically, she had came to town to meet up with her blood brother and hang out, some kind of celebration for something. So after she said that, it's funny. We bought each other drinks. Everybody bought each other drinks. Then the poetry was going to start, and it just shifted. Like she was no longer with her brother. Her brother kind of went on and did his own thing, and me and her were at the poetry event together. It was like we was on a date almost at the poetry event. So we enjoyed the poetry. We exchanged numbers, and the next day, I was like, we talked and whatever, and figured like we'd go out and grab a drink together. So, and this was interesting because, okay, so I called Q, Margin of Freedom. He a lawyer, big time, work on a lot of things, investments, all this other stuff. So I wanted him to tell me a place to go, but not no super expensive place because he go to all these highfalutin places. I'm like, hey man, give me a good dive bar with a cool vibe and good music. So he tells me a place to go. So me and the young lady, beautiful lady too, beautiful, and we meet up at the bar, dive bar place. So we at the dive bar place and we enjoy that. And then we leave there and we go to this like an arcade bar, like where they got games and stuff. I had saw it previously, so I invited her there. So we will go to the arcade bar, and this had never happened to me. Good looking girl. Another lady tried to snatch her in Atlanta. So I'm in Atlanta. I think we played pool a little bit, played the games. I went to the bathroom and another lady was in my stool. And so they was talking. I was kind of like, oh, okay. And then she says to me, she was like, you better keep your eye on her. I'll take your, I'm like, we ain't together. I don't own her or nothing like that. Y'all I think they did exchange numbers, but needless to say, that was interesting. She's interesting, so we it was a wholesome night. Wasn't nothing happened, you know what I'm saying? So I drove her back to her car and we had a good time and beautiful young lady. We follow each other, I think, on Instagram. I don't know if she listened to the podcast or not. If she does, hey, we had a good time in Atlanta. Hey, I had a good time with you. So I leave Atlanta from there and I go to Birmingham, Alabama. And Birmingham, Alabama is close to where my mother grew up. And they had a little area where it was like it showed a lot of the struggle and tribulation that Black people had gone through in America. It had a statue with dogs. Like you had to walk through this path and the dogs was biting at you. And they had like whips and all these chains and all this other. Then they had I believe it's the three schoolgirls who got burnt in a church there, and they had a bench with them. So it was just a powerful experience being at that memorial park. Makes you want to cry. I might have even cried, because it was just a powerful experience going through that. So I left where was I? I left Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, and went to New Orleans. Never been to New Orleans. First time in New Orleans. I love driving into New Orleans. It was like a long bridge that I had to drive across. And then when I got off the exit I picked, my first thought about New Orleans was dingy. I thought it was dingy. That's my first thought. I'm just being real on the things that calling them as I see them. You know, that was my first thought. Even when I was driving through, like it's a marsh. I guess it's built in a marsh or whatever. So I drove through and different color facades on the houses in the area that I was in, and it was just cool. It was cool. I stayed at a nicer hotel in New Orleans. I had some points on my credit card, and then I had like a free night on my credit card. So I stayed in a nicer hotel, and I stayed there because my daughter flew into New Orleans from Detroit and kind of spent the day with me. So she flew in, spent the weekend, and we went to an alligator tour. So we went on one of these little boats or whatever and saw the alligators. The alligators chased after us, and we got some good food. New Orleans. I mean, you got to find the local spots. You get the locals to tell you the spots to go, and I had the car so I could drive wherever I needed to go. And we had a good time in New Orleans. I drove her back to the airport, and she went off back to Detroit. And I enjoyed New Orleans one extra day. I went to Bourbon Street and hung out. Now, I'm going to tell you, people be partying. I went to a cigar bar out there, and the guy told me, he was like, don't go off the beaten path. Stay on the beaten path. Stay around people. Don't let nobody call you and tell you to go this way and do this. You know, it's dangerous out here is what he said. And I'm Detroit, Chicago. I can kind of know, but at the same time, I heeded his advice and kind of stayed around people and had a good time in New Orleans. I remember I was going back to my hotel because I switched hotels from that expensive hotel. When my daughter left, I went to like a cheap hotel, and there's people outside the hotel. I was walking back. A lady was like, hey, we about to go party. It was like a group of like, come on, you can go. I'm like, man, I'm going to sleep. I don't know what you what y'all talking about. I'm going to sleep. So I left New Orleans, went to Houston. First time in Houston. Houston's beautiful. I love the Houston Museum District. If you live in Houston and you haven't been to the museum district over there, what are you doing with your life? If you go to Houston, go to those museums. I mean, I had just went to the DC museum, and this museum was amazing too. So I was like, man, Houston, I thought of it as big. Everything was big in Houston. The streets were wide. The food was delicious. Oh man, so many good places to eat. Beautiful people in Houston. I did meet somebody in Houston. I got on the apps. So I was on the apps, you know, and when I'll go to these areas. So, and I met somebody on the app, and I kind of invited them to kind of enjoy my enjoyable night, right? So because I'm not eating much on the road. I'm not doing stuff. I usually don't do this on a first date, but I was just like in a new area. So we talked, and I meet up with her at we went to a restaurant at first, just had drinks basically, and then we went to a comedy club. This first date stuff, but I'm doing it because I want to enjoy myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm like enjoying myself in the city. So, and then I'm enjoying myself with someone. So she showed up and she was beautiful. And we went to see Donnell Rollins. It was like a I forget the name of the comedy club, but a popular comedy club out there. And we ended up going to a speakeasy place called the Sugar Room. The Sugar Room after that, kind of had a few drinks there. And yeah, it was a good time. I like Houston. Houston is what's up. Then I left Houston. I did have somebody call me nigga in Houston. I was walking down the street and somebody was like, nigger, and they drove off fast. And I thought that was the most punk ass shit. I was like, why are you driving off fast? You get what I'm saying? If you want to yell something out your car, stop and say it. You know what I'm saying? Come say it to my face. But because that was the most bitch ass shit I ever seen. You know, to pull off, to yell it, then pull off fast, like skirt. If you down, be down. You know what I'm saying? Take me. Be real about it. So I went to Dallas. I was kind of laughing at him. I went to Dallas next after Houston because it was just on the road, getting back on the main part of the United States so I can turn left or whatever. So I went up to Dallas. Dallas was cool. I had been to Dallas before. I went to the Deep Ellum part, and I like that area. There's music, there's stuff going on. Oh, I did meet up with my boy Adrian. What's up? He listened to the podcast. He came. He invited me to visit him at his house, so I went out there for a little bit, ch- chill with him and his family, drink a beer with him. Adrian, cool dude, loves fragrances. He big into the fragrances, and he gave me a couple fragrances, and I still got those fragrances, man. So I appreciate you. He the colognes and stuff. He big into that. So left Dallas. Riding at night is a mood. You got your music, you got your mood, you got the sun, I mean the stars, the whatever, the moon, just enjoying yourself on the road. Sometimes I even cut off the music or the podcast and just ride in silence, just chilling in my own thoughts. I loved it. I loved it. So I kind of bypassed some cities and I went to Albuquerque. In Albuquerque, I have family in Albuquerque. So when I was in Albuquerque, tell you one thing, that green, what is it? Green chili stew, love it. Every time family go to Albuquerque or somebody come from Albuquerque, I want some of that green chili stew. I went to Frontier to get it. They got other places that have it too, but I always went to this place called Frontier, and delicious, delicious. So saw my family out there, went and saw kids and everybody out there. Good time in Albuquerque. Albuquerque, one of them cities that's a real city too. It's not, they really don't care where you're from. It's like a kind of like a nonchalant attitude in Albuquerque. I always felt that. Like hey, I'm on the road. I'm just driving through America. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever. They're like, whatever. So I left Albuquerque, went to probably the most memorable spot just by beauty, Grand Canyon. I had never been to the Grand Canyon. First time at the Grand Canyon. Wow. If you haven't gone to the Grand Canyon, it's in the United States. You should go. Because I was like, what? It's like one of them places you look at like, how? It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's crazy, like, because some areas, like you go to the more, they're defined for the tourists, but the canyon is so huge that they can't really put bars around everything. You can't put rails and bars around the Grand Canyon. It is that big, So it's like areas that I went to. I had stopped at one time and I had some cigars in the Ford Flex. So I went to the edge and just sat down. My feet was kind of dangling over the canyon, and I'm smoking my cigar. And I'm thinking like, man, I'm looking at the birds, kind of like you see the hawks and the birds, and I'm like, I could just do it like a little scoot and fall, So you got to use common sense at the Grand Canyon. But I enjoyed my cigar with my feet hanging over the edge, and I definitely want to go back to the Grand Canyon. I love to go with someone, go with family, and be there and just spend some time there, because I kind of went and left. But I went, and the next place I went was Phoenix, Arizona. I have family in Phoenix. I did visit my family in Phoenix. Hey, Auntie Ann. I went and saw my Auntie Ann. I don't think Uncle Junior, he wasn't there at the time, but I did see Auntie Ann, and then I went to go have, like, I go have my steak dinner. So my cousin was there, my cousin Kevin. And I talk about Kevin in some of my stories. Kevin is a guy who I learned a lot from. 6 years older than me, lived with my grandma sometimes, so we lived together at certain times. Tough guy, real dude, nice guy, and will do a lot for anybody. He really a good hearted guy. So I met up with him. We went to go get steaks, chilled out with Kevin, which was a blessing to be on the road and do that. So I left Phoenix and went to San Diego. I'm gonna hurry through these other cities because I didn't do much. San Diego, beautiful. It was kind of boring. It may be better than that. You get what I'm saying? But it was beautiful. But I was bored. And then I went to Los Angeles. I went to Venice Beach, which is I had been there before. In LA got so many things to do, right? So many things to do, but there was so many things to do that was kind of boring because I didn't want to drive to all these other areas. And I just kind of like I kind of was in LA for a little bit and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I just did San Diego, LA, and Las Vegas in a snap. Just a snap of my fingers. I did those. Because when I went to Vegas, I didn't want to lose any money or spend any money. So I kind of stayed in Vegas for a little bit, left Vegas right away, and hit the road and then bypassed. I was kind of ready to go home, bypass Denver, and I went to Kansas. I had never been to Kansas. I had been to Denver. I'd never been to Kansas. So stopped in Kansas City, hung out there. Kansas City, here is supposed to have good barbecue, but the place I went sucked. And I talked to one of the locals. I said, "Hey, which barbecue spot should I go?" And it wasn't it. It was too salty. It was too. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was a store. I should have known because they had multiple locations. You want to go to a place that it may have multiple, but not more than three. You get what I'm saying? So, like, you go to a place that got two locations. If it got a single location and it's good, you know that's good. But I went to a place, I think they had multiple locations, and it wasn't hit. It was too salty. It was too salty. You get that right barbecue, though, it's beyond memorable because I've had some memorable barbecues in my life, but Kansas City didn't do it for me. Left Kansas City, went to St. Louis. And I'm going to tell you, St. Louis is running a close second to Cleveland. Not the best looking people in the world, you know what I'm saying? It may have just been me in that day. Now in St. Louis, I got a little because I was closer to home. I got a little bold. I went to this East St. Louis strip club that I probably shouldn't have been at. Get I don't use them words, but it was like, it was I probably shouldn't have been at that strip club called Bottoms Up. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I think it was crimes have happened at Bottoms Up in the past, and if it had that feeling, although I know how to handle myself, I was having a good time, and I enjoyed myself at Bottoms Up in East St. Louis. So left St. Louis, didn't spend too much time there, and I went to I was kind of headed home, and I could have went a straight way home, but I stopped in Louisville. Louisville was beautiful. I like Louisville. It felt like a city being rebuilt in some ways. I went to some restaurants that had like this hipster kind of culture there too. So I went to the restaurant. It was like really, it was just that kind of restaurant. It's farm raised and all that kind of stuff. But it was good. It was really delicious. But I went to the highlight of it was going to the Muhammad Ali Museum. I was so emotionally touched by that museum, the Muhammad Ali Museum in Louisville. You gotta go. And as I was there, I'm like, I want to take all the kids in the family. I want to take as many people as I can to that museum. And I haven't been back since I went on that trip, but this making me think of it because it's just like a story of resilience, a story of saying it, like naming it and claiming it, him saying I'm the greatest and then becoming the greatest. And it was just an amazing, amazing, amazing place. I could feel the energy there. I didn't want to leave. I kind of spent a lot of time at that Muhammad Ali Museum. I left there and bypassed some other cities because I was so high on the story of Muhammad Ali. And I just came on back home. Came on back home in Detroit, and I probably was gone maybe 5 weeks or so. I can't remember how many miles I drove. It might be 6,000 miles. Am I might be exaggerating. I don't know, but it was some multiple thousands of miles. I can't remember exactly how many miles I drove, but amazing experience. I'm gonna be honest, I love to do it again. And that's my story for today. So you just go eat Funyuns in my car with the windows rolled up? You go fall asleep while I'm driving? What kind of road passenger are you? Let's talk about it.
What's the capital I am? I don't know that. Keeping it real.
Let's be honest. Some people have no idea how to conduct themselves once they slide into the passenger seat. They treat the road trip like an Uber ride, like I'm their chauffeur, or you're a whack DJ. You can't be a whack DJ on a road trip. Falling asleep without offering to drive, that can't happen. Or why would you eat White Castles on a road trip? You don't eat White Castles. That's just the wrong thing to do on a road trip. So here's the official homemade PSA on road trips on how to be a good passenger. How to be, if you have no idea how to be a good passenger, you come to the right spot. All right, bring something with you to the car. People got to understand this. We got to start knowing that there's an etiquette of bringing things with you. Like you go to somebody's house, bring a bottle of wine, bring a bottle of liquor or something like that, or whatever they enjoy. You come to my car, bring something with you. Bring some snacks, bring some fruit, bring good energy to the car if you're going to be a passenger in the car. Ask while I'm pumping the gas if I need anything from the gas station when you go inside. Don't just go inside for yourself, sit down, have all your snacks, and then I'm just looking at your snacks like you ain't offered me nothing. You ain't asked me if I want something. Be a good co-pilot. Be the goose to my Maverick. If you know what I'm talking about. If you watch those movies. Be a good goose to my Maverick. All right, brush up your DJ skills. Bring some DJ skills to the table. Music matters on a road trip. I got to feel the energy of the road, though. You know, I'm usually a Griselda Records, Wu-Tang type listener on the road, but that's not for everybody. So if you have 90s R&B classics, that works. We can listen to SWV and Jodeci songs. We know all the words. You know, it gets us in a mood or whatever when we're on the road. 80s hip-hop classics. I know every word to Eric B. and Rakim paid them for. Every single word to those, every song on that album. So we can play that. We can do like a back and forth to the Locks or to Tribe Called Quest. You know, back in the day on the Boulevard of London, we used to kick routines in the press. You know, we can go back and forth for a while on a lot of songs. So make sure you available to do that. Choose wisely. No boring music on the road. We're not listening to Sade. We're not listening to what's Beyonce's sister called. I forgot. I love that album, but we're not listening to Solange. We're not listening to that. You know, maybe, only at maybe, like if we're going through the plains and it's a mood for jazz or Sade or Solange, we can roll with it. But it has to be a mood thing. You got to fill out the mood. In the 3-hour-long murder podcast, that works too. That works too. But you got to pick the right one. You don't pick the right one, you done messed up, and now I got to choose everything. I got to pull over, or I got to pick everything at the gas station before we hit the road again. So be on your job, DJ. Let's see. Let's see what's next. Snacks are serious. Snacks is a serious matter. You can't bring any stinky sandwiches to the car. No White Castles. White Castles make you flatulent, you know. So we're not eating White Castles on the road. No tuna sandwiches, no hard-boiled eggs. I understand that you're a gym rat, but none of the farting food. We're keeping farting food off the menu while we're in this car together. Keep it fresh, keep it resealable. Even your chips. If you getting chips all over the car interior, at least clean it out when we get there. But we'll get to that because we got to drive in this car for hours. We got to be around each other. And the passenger has to serve the driver. So if I need you to open a bottle for me, if I need you to open my chips or open my candy bar, you want to go home or you want to go to the hospital? That's your choice. You know what I'm saying? You want to go home or the hospital? Another thing, stay awake, or at least schedule your naps. You can't just be taking random naps and sleeps when we on the road. You gotta kind of like work that out with me, because I might need you alert for certain areas that we're driving through. If we're driving through the mountains, I need somebody paying attention with me. You don't have to be alert the whole ride, but offer some interesting conversation, some what would happen if conversations, some conversations that like get my mind sparked. Like, what you like, they got kill, murder, in fuck or something like that. Do some strange game conversation that will keep me engaged. You can schedule a sleep on when you want to, and I can listen to my Griselda in my playlist of Hot 97 Funk Flesh freestyles and rap battles while you're asleep, because I know that's not what you're interested in, but you got to schedule that sleep. GPS assistance, let's talk about that. Be my second eye on the GPS. If it says police is up ahead, definitely let me know that. Or if you see a police, if an exit is coming, just kind of gently say, hey, say exit 2 or something like that. Don't wait till the last second and say, hey, turn right now. I'm not going to turn. I'm an experienced driver. I'm going to pass that exit, and then we're going to get back to it. So just mention it. And if I do miss an exit, be a good sport about it. Don't act like we got a 12-hour drive. So these extra 20 minutes is not the end of the world. And you got to be a good sport about if I miss an exit and you're not offering me any GPS assistance. That's where I'm at with it. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but that's how I am. If we miss an exit, we just breathe through it and we get back on the main road soon. All right, bathroom breaks. You got to respect the bathroom code. If we stop, you got to try to use it. We stopping for gas, try to use the bathroom. It's just like the kids. When you put the kids to sleep at night, you go take them to the bathroom. Even if they don't have to use it, go try to use the bathroom so you don't pee in his bed. So the same thing, or else I'm handing you this wide mouth bottle and you can go use it in there, because I don't want to stop every 5 seconds for a bathroom break. Another one, keep the conversation going. We can talk politics if we on the same side, or if we just respect each other on opposite sides, because I don't want to hate you when we get to where we're going. We got to keep the debate sensible. I don't want to leave you at a gas station rest area. So let's keep the conversation interesting and respectable debate. Sports. I love sports stories, deep life stories. You can tell me your deep life stories, but tell me your deep life stories in the middle of the ride. Don't get into the crying story about this deep thing that happened to you that you never shared with anyone. You can share that with me, but make sure that's like middle trip, not beginning trip, because we don't want to start awkward. Middle trip, we in a zone. There's no awkwardness there. You can kind of get into it. You can cry if you want to. In the trip, don't bring that up, because we got to get there, and then it's going to be awkward for a few days, or the day that we get there. We kind of want to go out and do something. So ease into it. And then remember, silence at some points, it can be golden as silence. Sometimes you're in a mood of silence. And I don't want to have to tell you, hey, can we just, can you shut the fuck up, go to sleep? I don't want to have to say it, but sometimes silence is going. You got to fill it out. And the last one, leave no trace that you were here. Once we get there, let's clean up. We should be cleaning up along the process. Every time we stop for gas, we should be throwing away some trash that we made, and then pick up them chips, them little chip pieces and stuff like that. Dump the trash, clean up the crime scene, anything. Your candy wrappers, get rid of those. The smell that's in the car, we go roll down these windows and open the doors, let that air out a little bit. let that air out a little bit. And just an extra one. Blankets only for women. We don't do men blankets on the ride. Ain't no guy riding with me covered in a blanket. We're not doing that. I give you your coat. You know, you want to wrap up in your coat, but we ain't doing no blankets, and you ain't turning on no seat warmers with me, man. Keep them seat warmers. I'm sorry. You know, they got memes that say men can't do certain things, but yeah, you can't have blankets. You can't have blankets. You can cry on the road to me. You can tell me about your deep situation, but you can't do it while wrapped in a blanket. And that's to sum up the being a good passenger. Being a good passenger isn't hard. It's about showing up for the ride like you care about people, the destination, and the energy in the car. Because the truth is, great passengers make great trips. And if you're really good, you might get invited for another drive. I had specific road dogs for long trips, people who I rode with. So, but if you're not a good passenger, you'll never be asked again. I don't mind driving solo. It may affect our friendship for a long time. So share your rules for the road right below me in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you're talking about too. All right. I'm taking a long trip today on the west side of the state. I'm going to Muskegon. No, I'm going to Grand Rapids area for Father's Day, and it's gonna be a bunch of family. And then I guess we're going closer to the lake, some cabin next to Lake Michigan, and we're gonna do some stuff there. So it should be a fun weekend of family, friends, and all that kind of stuff. So and a lot of kids. It's gonna be a lot of kids. It's gonna be close to Lake Michigan, so we'll hit up Lake Michigan and water parks and all that kind of stuff. So it should be nice. You know, a fun time to spend on Father's Day. I just want to say, make sure you like and subscribe. Be a part of the conversation. Join the conversation. These beats that you hear are Echo Finch, echofinch.com. Listen to his new song, Hubris Like This. Look that up on YouTube right now. And also beats in the intermissions are by Margin of Freedom. I talk about him out of Atlanta on my story. Get his new project with Bruce Cush. It's called Sartorio Excellenza. I think I'm saying that right. Sartorio Excellenza or something like that. Follow me. I'm at Shannon Kaysen on all social media. Join the Patreon. Become a friend of Homemade. Patreon.com/Shannon Kaysen. And if you're interested in workshops, speaking engagements, or merch, I'm always wearing my merch. Go to ShannonKaysen.com. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you very soon. Let me wait for my mom. Here come my mom.
Now that's homemade.